It's just like,
Just
Here we all are, we're all wearing black too. Look at us. We're so in sync today.
I wore my black and my bright red.
Oh, I like that. Is that a coral necklace?
It's just like a little glass bead necklace that I like got the beads from Michael's and strung them on a piece of fishing wire.
Well, it looks like coral from here.
Perfect with your glasses.
Yeah, I know. They do look, yeah, they look a little more pricey than $1.99 from where you're sitting, but
Could have made
Oh,
a
look at
really
that.
good story,
Dawn
though.
did not get the memo about the black top. Dawn, go get it.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, I can't help you there. I'm not going anywhere. I have a better, my shirt, I feel like is, I'm not stripping all the way, but I'm gonna show you what my shirt says.
Strong people
More useful.
are more useful.
Nice.
Best shirt ever.
Yeah, that's a good shirt. I like it.
Meanwhile, she's sitting on her butt while I move wood.
Meanwhile, I am sitting on my butt and Chris has been moving wood for I don't know how long.
Too long.
3 hours?
Yeah, something like that.
But supervision is useful, so the shirt does not lie.
See?
Yes.
I'm insightful. Doesn't mean I actually follow my own advice.
That's right.
Actually, I went out to the horse barn this morning and spent about 4 hours. So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
I didn't do anything too heavy out there, but I got to pets and brush Maxwell, who is like 41 years old. And he lost his buddy a couple months ago. His buddy
Aw.
Spike passed away. And so these two guys used to hang around in the yard and just Maxwell loved Spike. And when Spike was gone, like when I saw him for the first time, I mean, Maxwell was just so unhappy. He was just whinnying. And so I gave Maxwell lots of love today. So
Is that like in real human years, or is there like an equivalent of horse years when you say he was 41 years old?
yeah, it was human years. Yeah.
That's an old
Because
horse.
somebody mentioned to me the other
That's
day that
old
they had a cat that was, something like 72 years old or something. And I was like, what? Like cats don't live that long. Like, is there like an official cat calculation that I don't
There
know
is.
about?
There is, but it's interesting. I forget the actual ratio where dogs, we all know is 7-1, but cats
Everybody
actually,
knows the dog
yeah,
years.
they're the most important. But
I thought
cats,
it was 9.
like cats aren't equivalent. Like I think when you're the cat's 3, it's more like it's 15. Like it ages differently. Like it ages 4 and then 3 and then, or whatever the actually might age the opposite. But it doesn't. Every year does not equal the same year in humans.
Well,
or
here
cat.
comes Dana. She will most
She will
certainly
probably
know
We will know about the cat year.
the algorithm for cat years.
Yeah, it's not linear.
It's not linear.
no.
You need to know algebra to get the cat year.
And
Exactly.
I stopped at algebra 1 on purpose.
All right, Forrest, how many human years are there in a cat year?
I think that cats are. I think cats are 4 and dogs are 7.
Oh, I'm gonna.
Oh, that seems too simple an answer.
No,
we
it's
wanted
different.
something more
Dogs are
complicated.
9.
It's way more complicated.
Well,
because
it's funny. I was thinking 4 too, but I have.
It's not the same ratio. Come on, Astrid, you're letting me down.
I'm Googling it. I'm
Well,
Googling it.
Astrid's Googling it.
It also depends on the breed though, too, doesn't it? I mean, it's kind of
Ah.
specific, like.
Yeah, I guess a tabby versus a mountain lion's different.
Yeah. I don't know. I think about like my cat Mary Jane right now, who is 14 human years. So that puts her pretty close to being around my age now, which kind of makes sense. I mean, for all of the issues that she's got.
She's acting like a
Well, it turns out many of us are right. And many of us are wrong. So apparently,
Let's just
Please do
hear
tell.
who's
Mary
right
didn't
and
say
who's
anything,
wrong.
so she's not right or wrong.
Mary is the only one who's completely right. The first year of a cat's life is equal to approximately 15 human years.
See, I knew there was.
Oh,
The second year of a cat's life is equal to an additional 9 years. After the second
then they're
year of a cat's
24.
life- Then they're 24. After the second year of a cat's life, each additional year is equal to about 4 human years.
Ah, there you go.
Wow,
Depends
there's a-
on how many of the 9 lives that they've used up. Does
Yeah.
that, like,
Right? 9 lives, maybe that's really what it means.
that's really
9
interesting.
and 4.
You have to add in, like, I mean, those first couple of years of a cat's life, like if they're a stray cat, then
oh
they're
yeah,
gonna eat up
They
those
screw up.
lives really early on. Because
if you
our,
don't within the first year of your life get eaten by a coyote, then you get 15 years.
Yeah.
Then in the second year, right?
The
If
second
you're-
year you get
9.
9 more.
you get 9 more.
Hmm.
That's too much math for me.
Wait, so
So
how
is
old
it-
is Mary Jane, Dana?
She's 14 human years.
Yeah,
She's
so
14 human years.
she's 72 according
48.
to Google.
Yeah,
Oh,
and she's
yep.
lived a really, really sweet life. The stray cat that we think may have been her many times great grandfather lived with us also, and he lived to be 9 human years after spending 4 of those cat human years living as a wild cat in our neighborhood. And he died of a pulmonary embolism.
Oh, gosh.
Hmm.
That was the vet's guess. He
I
threw
was
a
going to say, oh, you must have had an autopsy.
wow.
No, the vet guessed it because I told her when I took him in, I found his old dead body, you know, she was like, oh, that's really sad. This is probably what killed him because we know that he had lung issues related to living outside for so long.
It's pollution.
Well, interestingly, the American Kennel Club puts up roughly the same calculation for dogs, except after year 2, it's 5 years for every human year.
Oh.
Yes.
All right. What is horses while you're there?
How about blue whales?
Oh, fruit flies.
We'll just
I
keep
know
using
that.
Astrid. Penguins.
Oh,
Oh,
Hey,
that's good.
Astrid, how did you guys still go camping this weekend?
yes, we did.
How was it?
It was wonderful.
So
It
did
was
you
a-
walk up, you went up to Ramona Falls or on that hike that goes up that way, or did you get
Yeah,
some?
no, so we set up base camp at the Ramona Falls trailhead. I don't know if you guys have been up there. It's really it's a huge parking lot, massive amounts of day hikers. But
Yeah.
then there's really nice dispersed camping between the parking lot and the river, and we got a prime site, just beautiful, huge site by the water, away from the main trail. I mean, you could have put 4 tents up there. It was great.
Yeah.
And my friend Green and I went up early on Friday, so we set up camp and then took a day hike up on the Burnt Lake Trail, so towards Burnt Lake, and decided to not make it a full day hike because we then wanted to get back into camp and get the cocktails ready for our spouses to arrive. So we had a happy hour when they trundled in. And then on Saturday, we went all the way to Ramona Falls and did the full
Oh, that's great.
7-mile loop. And there was a ton of windfall. It was, I mean, there were parts of the trail where we just stood there with our jaws dropped. It was just
Wow.
such a bizarre landscape.
Wow.
The massive windstorm, Laurel, on Mount Hood last year, right, at Labor Day. So much so that a major loop trail is diverted in lots of places. And
I was gonna
and
say,
again, like
could you
the land-
you could still walk? It was not that
yeah, a lot of
windy
the
or?
trails. No, a lot of there was no problem weather-wise when we were there.
Yeah.
But there's just so much windfall, like huge, massive trees uprooted and blocking trails right, left, and center.
Wow.
Wow.
There was one part of the trail that looked like something out of a Tolkien book. It was just unbelievable. They had built this. The Forest Service had built this new little bridge across this chasm in the ground that had been created by these massive trees being uprooted. So all you walk through this alley of root balls, like
Oh, wow.
massive 15-foot high root balls with these 100-some-year-old trees all like sticking out all over the place like big matchsticks. Unbelievable the force of wind
Wow.
that has gone through there.
I didn't know
haven't
that was
been
like
there in a
that.
couple of years. That sounds like maybe a fun day afternoon or.
Yeah,
but-
it's actually worth checking out. It's as you come down the Ramona Falls is like a loop trail. So as you come
Mhm.
down the section that is technically part of the PCT, that's where that alley is. It's just wild.
Oh, that's
Oh.
great. I bet the sleeping weather was terrific. It was so nice and cool.
Oh, it was delightful. It was really nice.
Yay.
Yeah,
Mm.
it rained a little, but when-
Oh, thank God. Let it rain more, please.
No
Right.
kidding. I looked out the door yesterday and it was literally like somebody turned the shower on. I mean, I
Right.
looked out and all of a sudden it just came straight down in like a shower head
Yeah.
thing. It was so nice. It didn't last very long, but
No,
I'm so grateful for any moisture that we get.
no kidding.
Yeah, I haven't checked the fire map today or yesterday because it's too depressing, but I want to see how that bull complex fire has moved. I'm hoping this has slowed it down a little bit.
Danny, you didn't hear Dawn say that she was visiting with the horses this morning.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah, and there's not much to do this time of year because they're fine on their own and make sure their water's full, and they actually feed them hay, but yeah, so we got to do a little bit of chores and then got to love on one of the horses, and yeah, it was pretty kickback. One of the volunteers, I think he must be 17. His name is Sage. He doesn't like to wear shoes. And so he was showing me all his tricks on jumping on the horses while they were just there by the fence. And so we were talking about how, having trust with horses, and he's very comfortable around horses. And so it's really fun to watch him just like, hey, want to see me get on this, draft horse? And I'm like, yeah. So he gets on him and I realize how this horse is, draft horses are huge.
Huge.
So Sage gets down and the horse proceeds to take its very massive head and rub it all over Sage's shoulders and back. He's just like scratching himself. I've never seen the reference of a draft horse next to her. He's a man. I mean, he's a big size boy. So the head was bigger than his torso. Like
I
the
believe it.
jaw
You're
on the-
massive.
I know that like they look massive when you're standing next to them, but seeing this big head like rub his,
And it's like
chin-
longer than his, yeah.
yeah, it was the size of his torso. I mean, and then wide, his jaw was thicker than Sage was thick. It was, yeah, it was massive horse.
I
So-
worked with draft horses when I worked in Canada, and when I would ride them up to where we were working, I did logging, and I would have to get onto the truck to get onto the horse, and literally, I mean, I'm tall and my legs are long, but I was like a 5-year-old, my legs stuck straight out because their bodies are huge. They're like, they weigh a ton.
Or two.
Two or more, right? Their heads. I had one that the very first day I got there, the guy I worked for said, well, let's let the horses out. They've been inside all day. And I'd worked with horses all my life, but not draft horses and not ill-behaved, untrained horses. And this one lifted me off the ground with a lead. I had the lead and I was just, getting him out and he was ready to go. And I was just like, let go. And, I guess I could have held on, not very long, but,
No,
No.
it's really dangerous for them to have a lead on because they can, if they fall, they're done.
Yeah,
but-
that's crazy.
Better their leg than mine, I guess. I don't know.
I've never been able to understand why people, when you clearly are holding a lead and you need to let go of it, why do people still hold on? Do you know what I'm talking about? They're just like, I'm
Exercising
still
control.
gonna be able to stop this horse.
Yeah.
They're really not very smart animals, and they don't realize that you
Fucking
can,
humans.
all I have to do is lift you off the ground and show you who's boss. It's like, no, I'm good. You do your own thing. But yeah, they're
pretty
Yeah,
smart.
the
Or is it just
owner,
drafts?
I feel like someone out at the farm had said that owners, that horses have like a 12-year-old, which doesn't mean that they're smart, but they do have like a great more deal of like communication and common sense than, the horse clearly maybe didn't want to work or, did that sort of.
Yeah,
Like a 12-year-old.
they know exactly what
like
they're
a
doing.
12-year-old.
They know exactly what they're doing. If
You
they
know
don't want,
when trail horses take you just under a tree limb, just
Yes.
Oh,
you
right.
know, and just like,
Just
Yeah.
close to the blackberries enough to, yeah.
right?
Yeah, you haven't lived until you try to be brushed off a horse. That shit hurts.
Yeah,
It-
that's why I stopped.
It is pretty funny. You're like, oh, no, you don't. My horse used to always just try to roll on his back, right? Just drop down
Yeah.
and try to pull off. He didn't need
Wow.
a tree, or she, I should say. So I would jump off and pull, just like you're saying, but she didn't rear. She just wanted to lay down, and I would just pull so she couldn't roll over. I was like,
All 80 pounds of dog. You're like,
Exactly.
"Okay, dude."
That was about right
Hey.
too, 80 pounds.
Yeah. It's
Well,
amazing.
I had a funny moment with a leash and a pet. You know, my roommate has this very high energy dog. And so I take the dog for a walk in Rock Creek Park, which is like out in the woods. You don't see anybody
Mhm.
else. And so we're out in the woods, and a deer startled us. Like we were on the trail, like da da da, and here comes this deer zipping out of nowhere, and we were both like, wow, like completely, both of us flipped out. Then it happened a second time. We got startled by a deer, so we're both kind of on high alert. And this dog is like, you know, it's definitely part terrier. Like it's, yeah, you know, it's kind of, it doesn't walk in a line. It's like, and so towards the end of our walk, we're walking down a hill, and somehow the leash was slack enough that it got wrapped around a stick that was probably about, I don't know, 6 feet long and like this wide. So it got wrapped, and the stick started going around. You know, it's the dog. The dog starts going around in circles. The stick is going around like a helicopter, like, and I'm standing there with the leash, like, do I let go? Like, I think I literally
No, I'm not doing this.
jumped over the stick. You know, it was like as it came by. It was so chaotic, but it was
Oh.
that thing of like I didn't want to let go of the leash because I was afraid of losing the dog.
Yeah.
But
That's
we're lucky
pretty-
we both didn't like fall back. I'm so lucky I didn't completely fall. Thankfully that it just the stick snapped at one point and just snapped off. But
Wow.
whew,
moments
How
of
big
like
is the
not-
dog?
huh?
How big is the dog?
Oh, like a small medium-sized dog, I guess.
Okay.
It's not that big. Very fast, very fast.
Yeah.
It's part herder.
Oh, yeah.
God to help
You
anybody.
don't want to
that-
let them off the leash.
Yeah, no. But literally, I almost got hurt because I didn't want to let off the leash. I
Yeah.
didn't want to let go of the
And you're dodging the stick.
yeah, I can't even really think of what actually happened. Like somehow it propelled up.
How-
A double Dutch almost. Like,
Yeah,
wait, now
yeah.
turn around.
Oh,
Yeah, it
man.
was, remember when we were kids, I don't know if anybody remembers the thing you would put around your ankle and it had like
Oh, yeah.
a black thing
Oh,
on a
yeah. You
lemon,
jump with the other. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and you would swing it around and jump over it. Do you remember that? It was kind of like
Yeah.
that,
But with a dog.
but with
But
a
with a
dog and a
dog.
The
stick.
dog and a
A dog
stick
and a stick.
attached.
Not on
Oh,
purpose.
Stepped up her game.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that was my excitement yesterday.
That is a little excitement. Our friend
Take a
Mona
little
was,
while till you take that dog for a walk.
I was gonna say, our friend Mona was relaying a story yesterday. Some of you know Mona and her dog Boomer. And apparently Boomer got in a little scuffle with a pit bull looking dog out of like surprise of both owners, and couldn't get them to separate from each other, and kind of they were going around the sort of barking sort of circle. So Mona just dove in and tackled her dog and held her dog. And then the woman was yelling at her that she doesn't have control on her dog. And Mona was like, yes, clearly, but now it'd be best if you just left. And then but she was like
How about you
Can you
do so
imagine?
much your dog?
diving into two dogs that are like quarreling. And then
Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
get out.
actually, yeah, Davey, our dog's owner, my roommate, was saying that the way to break up a dog fight is to grab them by the back legs.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So you
interesting.
try to grab them by the back legs and yank them out.
Don't ever go for their mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but only. if
Wow.
I was like, I don't
only
know
if
how you get hold of a dog's back legs when
And you
it's
only
like
want to
that.
do that if it's your dog, because I mean, if it's not your dog,
that would
that
just,
dog's just gonna turn around and bite you. Like, what are you doing?
Even if
Yeah.
you get it by back legs?
Well, unless you, if you get both of them, if you're fortunate
Yeah.
enough to grab both of them, start
Yeah.
swinging them around in a helicopter, like you said.
I don't know. It was just kind of like, I could see her tackling.
Yeah,
That's-
no, the reason they were talking about it, Dana, was because at that pipeline, when people were like chained to heavy machinery and shit, people had brought their dogs. And my roommate said that like dogs got into a dog fight,
Oh,
like
God.
as everybody's around this, like, pipeline
That's-
shutdown action.
That's
nobody-
really irresponsible, actually, to take a dog
Yeah,
to that. Because you're gonna fucking get arrested, and then what's gonna happen to your dog?
Exactly. And more
Idiot.
than one person brought their dog, enough that the dogs got in a dog fight.
Well,
Because they were
they bringing their
unattended.
dogs,
That
were
seems
they
like a
bringing their
terrible
dogs to
idea.
like fend off the police dogs?
Oh, I mean, that's even worse, that you're setting your
Yeah.
dog up to have a dog fight with a,
Mm.
with a,
Some people just take their dogs every fucking
Yeah.
where they go.
yeah, I think it's
and-
more that people take
Yeah.
their dogs everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that,
I've
not
seen
sit-
dogs in tear gas situations in protests.
nope, 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 nope. You gotta be a responsible pet person. That's not cool.
Yeah,
I agree. Crazy.
Get them a mask.
You see the dog with their little goggles and mask on.
Be like Snoopy.
That shit's gotta burn their skin though, too, I mean, I think like if your dog's gonna get maced or whatever, tear gassed along with you, they're not wearing any clothes. They've just got
And they're gonna
fur.
just,
And
and they're gonna lick
got
it off.
paws and
Their noses, their gums, they've got all this exposed soft tissue. That's ridiculous.
Mm.
Did you guys go downtown yesterday? I know Ashley
Woo,
was
no.
what the heck happened?
Was there tear
I
gas
missed
in
that.
Portland
Nope.
yesterday?
It wasn't anything serious, but there was another Proud Boys Antifa or anti-fascist rally.
Mhm.
Shots fired.
Yeah, I
Wait,
hear
what?
shots all at the rally.
Wait, so
It
one
was
of them was,
downtown.
one was rallying and one was protesting, presumably. They weren't both rallying.
Well, there was one downtown and then there was one out like southeast, like 100, 122nd, something like that.
there was something on like 51st and Belmont and Hawthorne.
Oh,
There
look
was
at us.
something-
We're making international news again. Hundreds clash in Portland as Proud Boys rally descends into violence.
Yeah, in the Guardian.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what came up.
Yeah.
It's pretty scary, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't think it was quite as bad as it was the previous years but
Yeah.
it's interesting you mentioned gunshots out on 122nd because Friday and Saturday night, maybe they were here early. There was both times at midnight or so. It's like bam, 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 bam. I'm like, oh, geez.
I think the shots were downtown as well. It was
Yeah.
like at Taylor and Second or something like that. And it was Proud Boys and Antifa.
But it looks like, I don't know, I'm just looking at it looks like it was both just counter protesters
Right.
and then also black, like Antifa kind of folks.
Mhm.
Yeah, I worry about how it just seems like this is our reality. This is our new reality in Portland now. Which
Yes.
makes me really, really, really unhappy. Yeah.
Have you been following the homeless projected sites at all? Have you been following that thread?
I
So they're-
haven't been up on that. What's going on?
So they're projecting to pick, I think, 5 or 6 sites that are specified for homelessness and providing tiny houses. So not
Yeah.
tents, but little tiny houses. And they came up with like 70 projections of projected city-owned places.
Yeah.
And so you can go online and see it. And instantly I noticed the problem. And this is kind of what you'll read is like they laid the income map over the projected site map of the homeless, and the 20% lowest income parts of Portland, which is out here in our areas, outer southeast, has like 30% of the projected sites. None of these have picked, and then the top 20% have 3% of the projected sites. So there was a little bit of a like, whoa, and you guys live near Laurelhurst, not that far from that. And so there's no projected area for homelessness camp for that. And that is one of the biggest problems of,
Yeah.
at least I see on the news.
this is all property that's owned by the city of Portland? Is
That's
that
what
right?
I'm, yeah, and it's interesting, and we don't have to get too down far the rabbit hole, but they chose a site out on Foster, which is like 154th and Foster, which is in my opinion, is a horrible location, because you're on Foster, which is a super busy road. There's no services, there's no like,
Sidewalks.
there's
nothing.
not even a bus that goes out on Foster there. So you're not even setting people up for, I guess the next step, I would call it. Even if you have
Yeah.
homeless people out in that area, like what, like, it just doesn't make sense at all.
There's no
Is
grocery
that part of
stores.
area that they considered after we had the horrible June experience, they identified heat islands in Portland. Are those close to those heat islands at all?
No, this to cool off, cooling
Oh,
stations. No,
I
this
gotcha.
it's a really weird area, Dana. Like, so I go out
That's
Foster all the
beyond
time.
Lentz. I think Lentz was one of the,
Yeah,
that's much
I mean,
farther than.
Yeah, there's other things in the south, in the southeast that are definitely, and again, like 30% of them are located in this sort of area. But one of them is on a really, it just doesn't make sense to me. So it'll be interesting to see what, how they
Yeah.
proceed. Because
I mean,
these
I
are,
know, like, when you go out Foster, like if you turn on Foster to head to Mount Hood, like heading towards Damascus, and that way instead of taking Powell, the road
Yep.
gets really small. I mean,
Yes.
and you're right, there's nothing out there.
so it's before
No.
Jenny Road. So it's still in.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Jenny is like Portland property line, or
Mhm.
city line, and so it's prior to that, which then all you have is a corridor of trees,
Yeah.
and then anyways, so it'll be interesting to see kind of how that goes.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
gonna,
I guess I guess they've got to be limited by the city-owned properties, right? Like, I
Mhm.
wonder where the
Right.
Yeah.
And and that's what they were saying, of course, but it doesn't seem like, and they'll figure it out. I mean, it's not like they're going to be like, oh, let's put them out. I can't imagine, even though this is it's on the list of 65 or 70 possible sites. I can't imagine them choosing it for one of the half dozen sites that they're actually going to do.
Yeah, shit. I mean, people need to have a way to get to and from the city. I mean, if they're gonna build these villages like the ones that they built downtown, where, they have hygiene services, they can wash their clothes, they can take a shower, they can use the bathroom safely and sanitarily. But if you can't get to other services that you need, then that's just a waste of money.
Yeah, it seems like it. So it's totally haven't been picked, but yeah, so you follow that along for the next couple months, see what that goes.
Where did you find that map, the overlay map? What is that?
It just plugs through my feed. I didn't even go searching for it. It's just because I've been trying to follow it since, because of the COVID, the state got all this money. So there's like $5 million that they're putting toward homelessness programs, if you will. And so this is part of that money is being used for this. Tons of money. So that's how I started following it, when they were awarded all this money
Mm,
a couple months ago.
I haven't seen my studio neighbor, other Dana, in months. Actually, it's been a couple of months, but I know that she was working with the city, with her, I guess, her nonprofit Gather Make Shelter.
Yeah.
And she, I would really like to ask her what she thinks about it, because she's really got her pulse on
She's pretty plugged in. Yeah.
all of that. I'd like to know what's happening.
Yeah, she
She
probably has
spends
about,
She said that, I think she has a show going on like out in Ketchum, Idaho or something. So she's probably gone for a little while, but I know that she puts together, she organizes a whole lot of stuff around these villages that are popping up. So if I hear anything interesting, I'll share it.
I mean, I think whatever they do is going to be preferable to the spontaneous villages that crop up, right? Because I mean, just driving along Powell or Foster, and you just see it's like full on shanty towns, right?
Yeah.
And there's like
I'm
this-
really worried about the hygiene level for children. I mean, everybody, obviously, but I see a lot of kids in these places between my studio and my house, like under the freeway. That really distresses me.
Yeah, it is. There's a big problem.
but at least there's a direction. At least there's a direction into, like you said, Astrid. I mean, we're on Foster all the time, so we're constantly like, they might clean it out, a day, and 2 days later, you're right back to where you were.
Gosh,
Yeah.
and what you can do about protecting your stuff? You're way the fuck out there on Foster. You've got to catch a bus to go into town for something and you have to leave all of your possessions on the side of the road. How do you know if they're gonna be there when you get back?
I think they work together, at least in Foster, because they got all those campers and fifth wheels there parked along. They must be tag teaming it.
Yeah, but
I
you're
mean,
right.
there's gotta be like 15 of them just parked
Yes.
along the side of the road.
Safety in numbers.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's that going on. The second link I posted in the chat is that overlay with the income.
Oh,
data.
goody.
Yeah. Thanks, Astrid.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't think there are any good ideas, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
what city anywhere in the world is getting homelessness, right?
Yeah,
I
Oh,
mean, in countries where there's no social safety net, right? Like this stuff does not, like this does not happen in Europe, right?
yeah.
Right.
Damn, that's a lot of spots. And look where they are.
So
Hmm.
it's only projected, so the, you know, what you're seeing is what they've just, you know, there's like 66 or something on the latest list, I think, or,
Yeah.
but they're
Wow.
only choosing a half a dozen.
Whoa.
But you can see, right, there's, you know, definitely some big hole areas in inner southeast, Selwood, Laurelhurst.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which you think that would be close to a lot of services. But if you don't have, I guess, Astrid, to your point, if you don't have a public spot in that area, then where, you know, how can you,
If you don't have
Put it in-
municipal land, yeah,
then you can't do that.
yeah.
Oh, travel Portland has a whole section on homelessness in Portland.
Really?
Yeah.
What does it say?
Homelessness is a real and visible problem in our city. Learn about the causes, responses, and how you can help. That's that's pretty interesting. It's one of the first things that comes up when you look up homelessness in Portland.
Unbelievable.
Speaking of travel Portland, and then we'll get going. I bought a ticket on Friday to come back out
Hey!
on October 24th. Wait,
Hmm.
yeah, October 24th.
What day is
Oh,
that?
that's Craig's birthday.
It's a Friday, October 24th through,
Isn't it?
no,
Is that his birthday? Or am I
Whose
thinking of
birthday?
Dawson? When's Craig's
Craig?
birthday? It's October.
No,
oh, I
Is it?
thought he,
I think it's on there. I think isn't he July also?
wait, sorry, September,
No,
20
he's
September
the fall,
24th.
but I
Oh,
think it's
September.
Oh, okay.
September 24th through October 1st or October
Ooh.
3rd.
I was like,
Yay.
we're not gonna be here.
Yeah, a month from
Cool.
now.
September.
So I was telling you, my friend Stacy with that grape harvest, I was talking to
Mhm.
her on Saturday and she was looking at that weekend. So then I was like, okay, I'll just look at what the tickets are. I got a round trip direct flight from Dulles to Portland for $210.
What?
Nice.
Holy shit.
I
That's
Did you
know.
get
crazy.
it? Did you get it through Frontier?
Alaska Airlines.
What?
Good job.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I know. So I went on just to like check out the price. And then I was like, well, I'm just buying it. Like I didn't even call Kate or Stacy. I was like, I've got enough friends in Portland. Somebody will put me up. It's like-
Speaking of homelessness.
Speaking of homelessness.
What's funny
um,
is we're just looking to go to Vegas and it's that expensive just to go to Vegas for her parents' 60th.
Oh yeah. I mean,
anniversary.
for me, almost to get up on the train and back to New York is it's about
Wow.
That was a good
150
you
bucks.
scored. Well done.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, good job.
If they keep the flight.
If
Well,
they keep the
Alaska,
flight.
you're pretty
Yeah.
good. You're
If
pretty
they
good.
keep the flight. Yeah. But a direct
Yep.
flight, I was like,
That's
Yeah,
Oh,
that's-
insane.
yeah.
yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
a direct flight from Dulles or from National?
From Dulles to
Yeah.
Portland. Yeah.
That's
That's
great.
pretty sweet.
September 24th. I think I'm just like, oh, I mean, that's like a couple weeks from now. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
1 month.
A month.
so I'll see you there.
You coming
Yay.
for the weekend or for a week? When
Now
you-
I'm coming for 2 weekends and and the week in between.
Nice. Well played.
Yeah, I'll get there
Hey,
on a Friday
okay, yeah.
night and leave the next Sunday. So
That's great. It's
yeah.
a good time. Weather will be perfect.
Yeah. I think Kate said that she's going to go down with Craig to San Diego on a work trip. So she won't be back until that Saturday, but
25th.
the 25th. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if Stacy's out of town too, I've got plenty of room.
No, we're picking grapes that weekend.
The
It's
25th.
the whole grape thing. Yeah. She
Right.
thinks that they might go that weekend.
Wow. Where are you picking? She has grapes or?
In her backyard. Yeah.
Gotcha. Wow.
You think
Okay.
that's late or early?
Late, but
Late,
depends
yeah.
on what kind they are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see. Okay. Shall we get going?
I'm over with purple feet.
Yeah.
There's at least be bottled grapes somewhere if you don't have any off the bottle.
she has this big production where she makes grape juice. She harvests her grapes and makes grape juice.
Oh, that's
she
cool.
Cans
Cool.
it.
She
for the
doesn't
year.
take it one step further and let those little grapes get alcoholic.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't
Damn
do
it.
wine. No, just grape juice.
That's cool.